It's a beautiful day to be alive, man. We're alive. Got an opportunity to sit back, hear the word, see what the Lord got for us, see what way He wanted to go. But we got to look at something. We touched something the other day. And now we're going to have to deal with it and delve into it, tap more in depth. But before we do, I seen something about, any of y'all seen that story about they making the pastors in Houston turn over their sermons? Any of y'all seen anything about that? None of y'all in here seen anything about it? They're making them turn over their sermons because, see, Houston got a lesbian mayor. So they said that they didn't want none of the pastors in Houston to talk about sissies and bulldaggers or the lesbian mayor. And do you all know why they would that they would call these people to be able to turn over their sermons? Any of y'all know why they would do that? Yeah, how do y'all know why the government would be able to go to a preacher and tell him, let me get your sermons? Y'all know what that means when you under that 501c3?
I mean, you can go and get a keyboard and you ain't got to pay taxes on it.
Yeah, I mean, you tax exempt, but see, something go along with it. Hello, who they called in? You know what goes along with that? You can't preach what you want to preach. You can't say what you want to say. You can't speak against the government. You can't do a lot of things. That's why when the Lord permit this here, we will not do tax exempt status. We will be a limited liability corporation. Meaning that if something was to happen to anybody, let's just say for the sake of this conversation, Glover, you would be the last living member. Everything would go to you. You know what I'm talking about? We'll go ahead and pay taxes. You know what? Let's look. Matthew chapter 17. So we ain't gonna have no problem with it. We're gonna go ahead and do it. See, it's a lot of Israelite congregations. They 501c3 and they be trying to justify themselves when they talk about it. Matthew chapter 17 by verse 24. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm gonna be 501c3. I can't preach what I want to preach. If I want to say, hey man, I seen like this here, the United States is the most horrible, wicked country on the world around here messing with faggots. I don't stand for nothing they stand for. I want to be able to stand up and say it. If I want to preach the Messiah, that book, I want to be able to stand up and preach it. I don't want nobody to come tell me you can't speak about that. I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. See, when you get that 501c3, it's like you got a hand right up your butt. And you got strings on your back because you was a puppet, literally. You know what I'm talking about? I seen something on Fox News a couple weeks back. Dude was talking about how we going against the 501c3. We talking about such and such, such and such. But that's all game because they put you on the news. Can't talk about what you want to talk about. Matthew chapter 17, verse 24. And when they were come to Capernaum, they that received tribute money came to Peter and said, does not your master pay tribute? He said, yes. And when he was coming to the house, Yahshua prevented him, saying, what think thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children or of strangers? Peter saith unto him, of strangers. Yahshua said unto him, then are the children free. Are we not strangers here? Hold on. Jeremiah chapter 6. It might be Ezekiel 6. Let me see. Jeremiah 16. Jeremiah chapter 16, actually. Yeah, verse 10. He said, shall come to pass when thou shalt show these people all these words. They shall say unto thee, wherefore hath Yah pronounced all this great evil against us? And or what is our iniquity, or what is our sin that we have committed against Yah our God? Then shalt thou say unto them, because your fathers have forsaken me, saith Yah, and have walked after other gods, and served and worshipped them, and worshipped them, and have forsaken me, have not kept my law. And you have done worse than your fathers, for behold, ye walk every one after the imagination of his evil heart, that they may not hearken unto me. Therefore I will cast you out of this land into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and there ye shall serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you favor. It sounds like if you get cast out in another land, that means you're a stranger, ain't it? Come on back over here to Matthew chapter 17. Because when we sit back and we look at, I think it's about 2 Kings chapter 3 or 4, we see Solomon taxing all the people of the land who weren't Israelites. He didn't tax Israelites, Matter of fact, let's look at that just to confirm that. 2 Kings chapter 3. Now sit back, look what he said, what the Lord asked Peter. Do he say that they take the money of strangers, or do they do it of the children? 2 Kings chapter 3. Make sure that's what I want. It could be chapter 4. In fact, it's 1 Kings chapter 3. Leah, what you doing? What you doing, Leah? What you doing, Leah? Let's see what we got here. Matter of fact, make it chapter 4. Nah, 1 Kings. It's 1 Kings. Find over here, shoot over here, find what I want. 1 Kings chapter 4. Look about verse 24. About verse 21 actually. Oh, here we go. It's actually chapter 5, verse 10. It says, so Hiram gave Solomon cedar trees and fir trees according to all his desire. And Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 measures of wheat for food to his household, 20 measures of pure oil. Thus gave Solomon to Hiram year by year. And Yah gave Solomon wisdom as he promised him, and there was peace between Hiram and Solomon, and the two made a league together. And King Solomon raised a levy out of all Israel, and the levy was about 30,000 men. And he sent them to Lebanon, 10,000 a month by courses, month by month. They were in Lebanon, 2 months at home. And Solomon had 10,000 that bare burdens, and 4,000 hewers in the mountains. He said, besides the chief of Solomon's officers which were over the work, 3,300 were ruled over the people that wrought in the work. And the king commanded that they brought costly stones, great stones, costly stones, and huge stones, and laid the foundation of the house. What's going on, Lacey? That still ain't what I want. That still ain't what I want. Yeah, I hear you, Lacey. That still ain't what I want. That still ain't what I want. It's not coming to my mind. Bill, you on here, Mike? I need you to help me out. I forgot what is it. You know, it's been a while since I looked at it where he levied that tax on the people of the land. I know he levied that tax on the people of the land. It's escaping my mind where it's at, where he didn't lay it on Israel, but laid it on the people of the land to do the work of the house. Look at you. You sitting there looking ugly. Don't look at me ugly. Huh? I get rusty at now and then. Let's go back over here to Matthew 17. Lord permit, he'll bring it to my mind. Yeah, can you turn that a little bit? I can't feel that I'm sweating like a hog over here. I'm sweating like a hog over here. Yes, they do sweat. And it stinks. And it stinks when they do it. Matthew chapter 17. Huh? If I smell like a hog, I need to go take a shower. But back to Matthew chapter 17. In verse 25. He said, yes. Yuck, I'm sweating over there. And he says, he said, when they will come to Capernaum, he said yes. And when he said he come into the house, Yahshua prevented him, saying, what thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom, of whom do the kings of the earth take custom and tribute, of their own children or strangers? Peter said unto him, of strangers. Yahshua said unto him, then the children are free. Now notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go thou to the sea and cast a hook and take up the fish that first come up. And when thou hast opened his mouth, thou shalt find a piece of money. Then that take and give unto them for me and thee. Now you got a lot of Israelites feel like we should never pay no taxes. But you just heard this man just sit back and say, how about you just go ahead and pay him? Because we don't want to catch no trouble. We want to offend these people. And that's why we'll just go ahead and just pay them. Because I want to be able to say what I want. So I ain't got no time for somebody to tell me what I can and can't say. Because when somebody tell me what I can and can't say, we got a problem. You know what I'm talking about? Did you ever see Yahshua enter the prophet sit back and say, oh, I can't say that because I'm tax exempt. I don't pay no tax. So I can say what I want to. I can't say that. They won't allow to. 1 Peter chapter 2. Let's see why. Because tax is part of the land. At the same way that you can be tax exempt, that don't mean you got to take it. Ain't that a choice? What you say, Dwight? Ain't that a choice? Huh?
Yes. I don't know about the taxes and whatnot. They take it out my check.
No, see for
That's all
non-profits,
I know. They take it out my check. They take a
Stiff
penny too.
stiff pin. Hey, at least we don't get hit twice. Okay, it's 1 Kings chapter 9. What I want. We'll look at it in a minute.
So how they keeping track of what they preaching if they doing that?
I mean, they can do it at the end. They just said period. They just put a story out. They just say, hey man, we want your sermons. 1 Peter chapter 2 by verse 11. He said, dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts which war against the soul. See, a lot of these brothers want that tax-free stuff because they want that money.
Great stuff.
Your daughter, because they want that money. See that, and a lot of times, see that money, that filthy lucre can war against the soul. That's why I say a bishop can't be greedy for filthy lucre. See that money what caused a lot of preachers and a lot of people to do a lot of stuff. Take them down every time because they worry about that cash. He said, having your behavior honest among the Gentiles. That's why our behavior be honest. We go ahead and pay you taxes. See, then that, you know what happened then when we pay you taxes? Come on over here to Genesis chapter 14. Might be 15. Then what happened when we go ahead and pay him? See, old silly nigga tell you, see, he hadn't taken away from the book right now. We just showing the pattern. We got to see what our father Abraham did. In Genesis chapter 14 by verse 21. Genesis chapter 14 verse 21. He said, and the king of Sodom said unto Abram, give me the persons and take the goods to thyself. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto Yah, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet. And I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou should say, I've made Abram rich. That's why we'll go ahead and pay taxes, man. It won't be tax exempt. Because they won't dare open up their mouth and say, oh, we did this for you. We did that for you. You're not going to be able to open up your mouth and say that. You see why we wouldn't take it from them. Now look at 1 Kings chapter 9. That's why we don't take it from them. You ain't going to be able to open up your mouth and say none of that. That's what the people going to be able to do. Why you think, man, you hear some of them preachers say something, they end up having them go back, they end up apologizing. Look at Jeremiah Wright a couple years back. Oh, that was almost 10 years ago. When Obama ran the first time, that was almost 10 years ago then. Y'all remember what that man stood in that church and said? Huh? No, Jeremiah Wright was the pastor of Obama.
So Obama ran?
Yeah, he ran the first time.
His first term.
His first term. Remember, he had to run for one time before he get elected.
No, I thought you were talking about like he ran.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, Tom. Yeah.
That wasn't okay. We used to sit and watch the video. I used to die laughing.
Nah, he right.
You know what I'm talking about?
And that bald-headed dude.
It was 2000. No, he stood in there and he said, y'all say God bless America. He said, God damn America. He said, it's in the Bible too. And then he went to running down verses. It's just how he said it too, because he was like this here. He was going hard. He said, "You say God bless America." He said, "But the Bible say God damn America." He said, "It's in the Bible too," and he went to running it down. But because these people hand up his behind, he had to come back around later and apologize and say, "I shouldn't have said that. I got a little ahead of myself. America's a great country. You know what I'm talking about? But when you ain't taking them people money, you can sit there and say, yeah, I said, goddamn America. May it burn, this God-forsaken, wretched place. They slaughter them Indians. They like boy booty. You know what I'm talking about? They worship other gods. They like to get drunk. They like to get high. Look at this crap on their television. You know what I'm talking about? You can stand up there and you can do that. When you pay, when the people saying you ain't got to pay no taxes, hey man, like what's the dude name? One of the Rothschild dudes said a while back, man. That man say, if you give me power over a nation's money, I don't care who make the laws. If I'm putting the money in your pocket, I don't care what God you serve. You serve me, nigga. I pay you. But see, when God pay you, then you only accountable to Him, and you can say what you want. Come on over here to Galatians chapter 1. We get to 1 Kings chapter 9 before we dare everyone. That just suddenly hit my mind. He stirred to just let y'all know. We won't never be tax exempt status. I can't have no nigga telling me, not no white man telling me what to say. I'm a Jew. Ain't finna let no white man tell me what I can say and what I can preach. That's insane. I can't do it. I don't know how some of y'all feel. I can't do it. Galatians chapter 1 about verse 6. He say, I marvel that you are soon removed from him that called you into the grace of the Messiah into another gospel, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you and will pervert the gospel of the Messiah. See, that's what's going on. See, if they were true preachers, see, these people trying to trouble you, make you pervert what the man preach, what the man teach. You know what I'm talking about? You know the Messiah ain't with no bull dagger. No, he ain't with that. That's an abomination, ain't it? Say, he gets you turned to a reprobate mind with that. Just like he ain't with lying and stealing. Somebody over here don't know that though. They don't say no name though. You know anybody over here like don't know lying and stealing an abomination? You know somebody don't know that? You know somebody don't know that? You know somebody who don't know that? I know somebody don't know that. I can't remember his name. You remember his name? What his name is? Yeah, what his name is?
What's the name? I forgot. Oh, it's Sharon.
Oh, that's Sharon like the lion still. Okay. I knew it was somebody I knew. He say, but though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you, that which we have preached unto you, than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. As we have said before, so say now I again, if any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed. So guess what? If I was to pop up and preach something different than you than what we already been preaching, I ought to go to hell then, shouldn't I? He say, for do I now persuade men or God? Or do I seek to please men? For if I yet please man, I should not be the servant of the Messiah. See, we ain't out here to please men. We out here to please God. That's the only way we can do it. 1 Kings chapter 9. That's the only way we can do it. Ain't no way in the world somebody gonna come to my gift. But I sit there and said, you know they ain't a God anyway. You got your sermon written down already. You ain't got but 2 verses you're gonna read from anyway. 1 Kings chapter 9 verse 17. Matter of fact, pick me up by verse 12. He says, and Hiram came out of Tyre to see the cities which Solomon had given him, and they pleased him not. And he said, what cities are these which thou hast given me, my brother? And he called them the land of Kabul unto this day. And Hiram sent to the king 60 talents of gold. And this is the reason of the levy which King Solomon raised for to build the house of Yah, and his own house, and Millo, and the wall of Jerusalem, and Hazar, and Megiddo, and Gizar. For Pharaoh king of Egypt had gone up and taken Gizar, and burned it with fire, and slain the Canaanites that dwelt in the city, and given it for a present unto his daughter Solomon his wife. And Solomon built Gizar, and Beth-horon, the Nether, and Baalath, and Tamador in the wilderness and in the land. And all the cities of the store that Solomon had, and the cities for his chariots, and the cities for his horsemen, that which Solomon desired to build in Jerusalem, and in Lebanon, and all the land of his dominion. And all the people that were left of the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which were not of the children of Israel, their children that were left after them in the land, whom the children of Israel also were not able to utterly destroy, upon those did Solomon levy a tribute of bond service unto this day. But of the children of Israel did Solomon make no bondmen, but they were men of war, and his servants, and his princes, and his captains, and rulers of his chariots, and his horsemen. So you see, we tax strangers. We don't tax no children, now do it. But see, we gonna look at something right there, because something just come to my mind. What you see right there when he said he didn't make them no servants, but they were men of war and his servants and his princes and his captains. Y'all have any idea what it could be referring to? Let's look at Revelation chapter 7, verse 1. Then we'll come back to 1 Peter chapter 2. Revelation chapter 7, verse 1. He said, after these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, and that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. Gentlemen, what prophet told us by sealing the servants of God? No, that wasn't Isaiah. Who remember? You remember? I know you remember sitting over, got to be over there cheesing. What about you, Glow? I said, what prophet? Joseph ain't had no book. He was a prophet, but he had no book.
It was Ezekiel.
It was Ezekiel. Chapter 9, remember he said the exact same thing. Don't go around there slaughtering and killing these people till you seal my servants. Verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and they were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Of the tribe of Judah was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin was sealed 12,000. Now we're going to look at Revelation chapter 14 in a moment. Anybody know what tribe wasn't mentioned? Dan. Now, what these people done told y'all about? The only reason why I'm asking, we had to show somebody this last week or this week, so I got to make sure that y'all know. Who believe the tribe of Dan is no more? And if so, why? Because I would Hebrew Israelites teach, they teach the tribe of Dan gone, man. Any of y'all know why they teach the tribe of Dan gone? So no, what you think about is the tribe is why we know that wasn't talking about Dan. See, they teach the tribe of Dan gone. For those of y'all that what did you already know? That Genesis 49 when he say Dan is a judge, his tribes is one of the children of Israel. But he's a serpent, by the way. We know that's talking about who? Judas. That's what they tell you to sit back and say Dan gone. Let's look at Revelation chapter 21 verse 12. Then after that Ezekiel chapter 48 verse 31. Then we'll come back to Revelation 14 and just deal with what we got to deal with. Because Dan wasn't mentioned in these 12 tribes, was it? It didn't mention his name. You really had to do that, huh? Oh, extra long. Man, get your man. I want to look at the bottom of your feet.
Nobody want to look at the bottom of yours.
Right.
Still sitting there.
I'm talking about sitting around here look like you've been kicking dumpsters, man.
Hey, that's called hard work.
Now you ain't got no Revelation 21:12. They gonna have your feet in there smelling like corn chips. Shoot, that's your couch. He said it had a wall, great and high, and it had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels. And the names written thereon were the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. On the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, on the west 3 gates. Ezekiel chapter 48 verse 31. I showed a brother there one day, he still tried to say the tribe of Dan were gone. I said, now how you going to kick after that? How you going to kick after that? Now you're just being a dummy. Now you're just being a dummy. Sometimes, man, you just got to realize, hey, man, them dudes were wrong about that instead of trying to kick the hold on to it. They were wrong. There's a lot of stuff we done came across in our lifetime, man, we thought was right. Lord came back, showed it later on that wrong. It ain't a hard thing. You just let it go. He said, and the gates of the city shall be after the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. 3 gates northward, 1 gate Reuben, 1 gate Judah, 1 gate Levi. Why is that important for us to know that Judah is on the north gate? Who remember? It's cheesing like you know. You know. But do you know? You ain't have to say, all you have to do is just shake your head. I'm not Jesus. Nigga, you always Jesus. You remember Lamar? Why is that important that Judah Gate is on the north side? You remember Dwight? A Glover? But why is that important with the north gate though? Yeah, Yahshua came out of Judah, but why is the north gate important? Just try to bring something to your memory. If you go look at Psalms chapter 48, it said the Mount Zion, the city of the great king, in the sides of the north. And when you go back and look at Isaiah 14, then people try to tell you that's the devil when he said that he would sit on the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Yeah, I said that. They loud off on talk.
You said that? He said it for real, Lamar? He said that for real.
I was saying, he was like, oh, yeah, but why?
Okay.
Over talking.
Man, look, you talking like a little Nancy boy. Put some bass in the boy.
You asked me a question, I was answering it, and you go, oh.
I didn't hear you. You just said,
I know, because I was answering, you said, oh.
Man, I'm gonna get up and punch me a nigga in the throat. Where we find this nigga at?
You find me.
We find this nigga at, man. We found this nigga, man. Take this nigga back to Nicaragua where they ride on donkeys and mules and stuff, drink bad water.
Call it wrong, we get money.
You get no money in Nicaragua, because all I ever say, all I ever see from Nicaragua church is they say, much of a send me 10 cents a day. That's what I see.
This nigga here, over there laughing. We're gonna talk about the yards out there now. Walking around looking rough. I see. Whatever that was saying.
Jamaica walk around barefoot. Walking around here barefoot, walking on all manner of rocks. That's why that nigga feet look like that now. Verse 32. He's saying at the east side, 4,500. 3 gates. 1 gate Joseph, 1 gate of Benjamin, 1 gate of Dan. So what that tell about the tribe of Dan, gentlemen? Huh? They gonna be in the kingdom then, ain't they? So dudes look at it, well, why they in 144,000? You go ask the Lord that. Because you don't see, hold on, let's see if Manasseh got a gate. Because he would mention in that 12,000. He said, and on the south side, 4,500 measures. And 3 gates, 1 gate of Simeon, 1 gate of Issachar, 1 gate of Zebulun. And at the west side, 4,500 with their 3 gates, 1 gate of Gad, 1 gate of Asher, 1 gate of Naphtali. And it was round about 18,000 measures in the name of the city. From that day shall be yards there. Now Manasseh ain't got a gate. Does that mean Manasseh not going to be in the kingdom? Obviously not if they got princes chosen. Revelation chapter 14. Niggas just come up with anything. We were talking with our sister Chelsea the other day. Just like that way, you done heard it. Them niggas sit back and tell you when you get in the kingdom, man, you're going to have all type of wives, you're going to have all these babies. You sit back and ask yourself, why in the world would some spiritual beings with a spiritual body be having babies? What somebody with a spiritual body need to have sex for? This is stuff these niggas teach. And they be serious about it, like, when we get the kingdom, boy, I'm going to have me 4, 5 wives. They just going to be having babies. And you just sit back and ask yourself, we living forever. What I need to have a baby for? Why would you even need to be thinking about penetrating my vagina and you living with God? I'm real. Let's sit back and think about it. We dwelling with God and you thinking about penetrating a vagina. Something with your brain is just not right. I mean, let's be honest with it now. If you sit back thinking about living with God, you think about having sex. That's the same way that people talk about the niggas in New Orleans with raping some women. All this stuff going on, you think I'm thinking about some vagina? Nigga dying every day, you sit back and shoot, boy. I ain't got no food to eat. I sure want me some sex though. I ain't had no water in 3-4 days. I sure want me sex though. No. Revelation 14:1. I just threw that out because niggas really teach that you're going to get in the kingdom, you're going to have your 7 wives, you're going to be freaking all of them, they're going to be having babies, it's just going to be babies, 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 babies. He said, I looked and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, as the voice of a great thunder, and I heard the voice of the harpers harping with the harps. Their harps, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne. and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man can learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These were they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever they go. These are among men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they were without fault before the throne of God. So that means just like Solomon made him some captains and some princes, y'all sure have made him some captains and some princes. Be right up on them. See, and you know that he chose Israelites to do it, just like Solomon did. So I ain't going to make them my bondmen. I'm going to make them my servants. But Ecclesiastes chapter 2. Hold on, we got to finish 1 Peter chapter 2. My bad. Let's finish this 1 Peter chapter 2 before we get Ecclesiastes chapter 2. We in verse 12. We just had to deal with a little bit of that though. Just to let y'all know, because we will be paying taxes. Gonna have to do it. Ain't no way in the world. I gotta say what I want to say. Tax-free exempt status, it just ain't enough for me. So you won't tax. I ain't gotta pay property taxes on this building. I'll pay them. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, we done raised certain amount of money. You gotta pay taxes on it. Don't worry, we'll pay it. You know what I'm talking about? If this thing we can use as a tax write-off, then hey man, we can use stuff as a tax write-off. But nevertheless, you'll get your money, man. Then he said, render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, and give unto God as God is their money. Last time I checked, let me look. Hold on, let me see. Let me see what's on it. It says Federal Reserve Note, the United States of America. Now we know that that's owned by the Rothschild family, but at the end of the day, that's Caesar money, ain't it? That's the king money. It makes sense. Go ahead and give him what's his then. We turn around and give God what's his. That's our whole body, our whole heart, our whole mind, our whole soul. We ain't sitting back trying to hold on to these people worthless fiat currency. Give it back to them. That go the same for y'all when it come time to pay your individual tax. And if you could get something to get a tax write-off, by all means, don't be no fool. But don't be trying to scheme and scam these people. You know what I'm talking about? Because the Lord had already set you the example. He paid them. How you going to get around doing it and he did it? Yeah, we the children and we free, but nevertheless not to offend these people, go ahead and pay it. Because y'all know what happened to you when you don't pay your taxes, man. One or two things. They take all your stuff like they did Red Fox and Jermaine Dupri, or you go to prison. So you really thinking this what we just seen? Some woman got locked up, got a whole bunch of years trying to scam them people out hundreds of millions of dollars on tax. Them niggas just so dumb. You go for an exorbitant amount of money that these people know they gonna come get you for. I used to sit back and watch dudes in prison do it. I'm talking about they could get $10,000, $20,000 a walk. Man, there was a dude and he got a life sentence. Man, he was stinging these people for millions. They talking about why were you doing? He ain't never getting out anyway. What do he care for? As long as being in prison, might well live comfortable. He said, having your behavior honest among the Gentiles, that whereas they speak against you as evildoers, that they may by your good works, which they shall behold, glorify God in the day of visitation. Submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme, or unto governors as unto them that are sent for the punishment of evildoers, and for the praise of them that do well. For so is the will of God, that with well doing you may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. Hey man, I don't know you like that. Know you like that. Know you like that. Huh? Man, your feet, man, playing for. I don't know you like that.
I touched you?
Yes, you did.
Oh, my bad, cuz.
I don't know you like that.
I ain't feel it.
Yeah, I. Hey, man, I don't know you like that. You do that with Lil Muffin.
Well,
He say, as free, not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, but as the servants of God. Honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the king. So you see that we free. That's what a lot of these brothers, I heard one of these dudes say, it's only right that we do the 501c3 and get this here, because see the white man been doing us like this here, and that way we can get back at them. So you using your freedom as a cover to be malicious. Man just told you not to do that. You know what I'm talking about? We can sit back and say, well, we never get our 40 acres in a mule. I'm going to do this here. Them crackers going to give me this. They going to give me that. I just good. I feel like Abraham. You're not going to be able to say you made us rich. We straight. We'll pay you. We'll pay you. Ain't a big deal. We'll pay you. That sounds good to y'all. Ecclesiastes chapter 2. Because I can't have them people hand up my booty. Last I checked, that was the exit area. Don't need nobody. Ain't nobody puppet.
yeah, anybody did that shit to you, so you got out of prison, huh?
Uh-huh. You see, I've been meaning to ask you about that too, huh? That nigga say, ain't nobody ran up on me like the whole time I was in prison. At least I mean to ask you about that too. Ecclesiastes chapter 2. See what I want. Verse 12. Make it 11. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on that labor that I had labored to do. And behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit. There was no profit under the sun. Now that's something else we need to touch. Let's go back to the law. That man said he looked at his hands on all the things that he labored to do. He said he had vanity and vexation of spirit. He said he didn't get no gain of the things up under the sun. Genesis chapter 3 verse 17. Genesis chapter 3 verse 17. We touched this in passing a while back, and we had to come right back round and do it. Got to come right back round and do it. I thank the Lord. I thank the Lord for the word. Thank the Lord for salvation. Mind to seek him and to know what's right and what's wrong. A lot of these brothers, they don't want to know what's right and what's wrong. They don't even want to know why they believe on that man, why they follow that man. They just run their mouth. It ain't even much worse. Genesis chapter 3 verse 17. And he said unto Adam, he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat it all the days of thy life. Thorns and also thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face thou shalt eat bread till thou return unto the ground, for out of it thou wast taken, but dust thou art, and dust thou shalt return. So this man said, you're going to have to do some work. Now we see Solomon sitting back talking about he looked on all the works of his hands and all the things that he worked, and the labor that he did. He said it was vanity and vexation of spirit. Let's look at John chapter 5. He said he had to put in some work. Now he's sitting here telling Adam, you got to work for your wife. You're going to have to do a little sweat. You're going to have to do a little labor till it's time for you to die. Till it's time for you to die. John chapter 5 verse 16. Make it 16 is good. Got you some coffee there? Little tea?
Drink coffee. You like old coffee drink.
No, I don't like coffee. It's quite nasty.
You want to get that coffee flavored protein?
No, I didn't try to get that blended coffee, and I was highly upset about that too.
Yeah.
That thing was nasty.
You know, say, yo, look. Oh.
Oh, so you tried to pass my shake off?
Yeah, you better believe it. I'll go.
Oh man, so they tried to pass my shake off.
You better believe it.
That's why you was still sitting. I knew it should have been silent. I come back in and I said, dang, that nigga still there. I done opened the bar. I said, that nigga must ain't know what he was there. I went to tasting him. I said, it's got a weird flavor. Blended coffee. Nigga had a big old whole full serving bottle. And you're just going down mine.
Hey man, that's how I have to tell you.
I'm talking about nigga got the whole big bottle. Because remember I used to have a small bottle, the big bottle, then used to fill up the little bottle so I could have exact serving. And this nigga got the big one.
That happens, man.
Black people. You know what I'm talking about? But you alright over there? No? You know what niggas should do to you, man? I'm talking about just cut a big old line straight through the middle of your head and let you go to school like that. But then somebody gonna think we around here child abusing you. Who think we should get that nigga a soup bowl? You can get that nigga a soup bowl?
I might get him in a soup bowl.
Man, I get that nigga a soup bowl so all the little kids can walk up behind him and do this here. Slide right upside the back of his
Man, a
head.
soup bowl for.
Straight up. Somebody did get that nigga something. Shame that nigga. I didn't want to shame him. Nigga didn't go to school. Nigga got these lines and parts everywhere, patches and holes in his head. Say, what's wrong with you? They say, I like to lie and steal. That's how it happened to you. He might have well, nigga want to wear a mohawk. Might have well give him a soup bowl.
Man, cause he had a mohawk.
Yeah, he had a mohawk.
That joint green to me. What we at?
That's John 5 and 16. She might well give him a soup bowl. Matter of fact, just draw a sign, make a sign, just stick it to your chest. I'm a thief. I like to steal. Watch your money. Hide your money.
Hold your bag close.
Straight up. Hold your money. Nigga say I got sticky fingers. And I ain't from Onyx. I got sticky fingers. Man, man. You tighten up, boy. People sit there and think you just, they probably see you think, he's such a pleasant child. They say, wait till you get to know him. He said, and therefore did the Jews persecute Yahshua and sought to slay him, because he had done these things on the Sabbath day. But Yahshua answered them, my Father worked hitherto, and I work. Therefore the Jews sought the more to kill him, because he not only had broken the Sabbath, but said also that God was his Father, making himself equal with God. Then answered Yahshua and said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he see the Father do, for what things soever he do, also the Son do likewise. So you see, Yahshua just said, my daddy work, I work too. Now you just sat back and seen, he said Adam got to work by the sweat of his brow for his wife then, until he go back to the dust. See, that's what we were showing them men when we were showing about a woman can't preach. How you gonna sit back and say a woman can preach and he sent the man to labor for the woman? The woman shouldn't labor for the man. That would make no sense. Did he give a commandment for the woman to labor for the husband? Gave the man a commandment to labor for his wife. Then you sit back and look at it, you see Yahshua say, I'm working for my wife. You sit back at all the miracles, all the stuff he did, the raising from the dead, the healing the sick, everything he did. Him getting up on that tree to die, he did it for his wife. I had to put the work in for my wife, it was necessary. So we look at Luke chapter 22, because he said by the sweat of his brow till he go back to the dust. Because he said, I look back on all the labors which I had wrought. He said, I had some vanity and vexation of spirit. He said, when you vexed in spirit, mean a little sad. I'm a little grieved right now. Luke 22 by verse 37. Now let me back up here. I'm 37, 38, we're ready to come down some. About 4:39 is good. And he came out and went as he was wont to the Mount of Olives. His disciples also followed him. And when he was at place, he said unto them, pray that you enter not into temptation. And he was withdrawn from them by the stone's cast, and kneeled down and prayed, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. Because he had already told his disciples, you are they that walk with me in my temptations. We know he said, I'm exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. So he's sitting back looking at his work. He said, I got a little vexation in my spirit. A little vexed right now. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes it look back when you're doing the work of God, you seem be a little vexed in your spirit. Because you got all this other stuff coming in trying to intercede. That's that flesh though. Then you got to sit back and look at it. I got to work this work though. That's why he told you we'll look at it. He said, and there appeared an angel unto him from heaven and strengthened him. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly in the sweat, as it were great drops of blood falling down to the ground. He said, by the sweat of your brow, you'll labor for your wife till you go back to the dust. Now he's finna get ready to be killed. And he's laboring for the wife. And there's sweat coming to the ground. But let's look at something in Ecclesiastes chapter 11. Might be 12. Let me see. Might be chapter 11. Chapter 11 by verse 9. He said, rejoice, O young man, in thy youth. And let thy heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth, and walk in the ways of thy heart and in the sight of thy eyes. But know thou that for all these things God will bring thee into judgment. Therefore remove sorrow from thy heart, and put away evil from thy flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity. Now he sat back and looked at it. He in his youth, he a young man. He's sitting back looking at it, man, I'm finna get ready to die. He said, but you need to remove that sorrow from your heart. Because that's something y'all don't sit back and look at it. That your childhood and your youth, they were for nothing. We sit back and look at our childhood and youth, what was it worth? You get nothing from it. See, we know why it's vanity. 2 Timothy chapter 2. Show you why it's vanity. Why you need to put away evil from your flesh, because childhood and youth are vanity. 2 Timothy chapter 2. About verse 21. Make it 19. 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 19. Ooh, Lord, thank the Lord. Everybody feeling okay? You don't want to talk to nigga over here. Then it's a crazy word for this nigga here. Nigga don't steal nothing but $1.
It's all in his head.
What you gonna get with $1? Some lemon heads, nigga. Nigga can't even buy a bag of Skittles with $1.
You can't go to the right store.
Nigga, I'm talking about the candy lady roll pan, nigga, you can't even do nothing with that. Nigga sitting there looking, all this nigga left with was a juice and one chew.
You get 400 of that, man. What you mean?
Nigga can't, ain't nobody selling this nigga no 25-cent 100 dribble around. These niggas want 50 cents these days. Stop selling 25-cent 100. That nigga don't even know what a 100 dribble is. Ice is different from a 100 dribble.
No, that's what they call it up there.
You can crunch it up.
You know what I'm talking about? What they make it out of then? That nigga don't know what a 100 dribble is.
I know what they made it out of there back then either.
Yeah, that nigga don't know what no 100 dribble is.
I didn't know what 100 is, man.
He know ice it.
Yeah, that's what they call it up
I
there.
didn't know it until you said it. He just said it recently. I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah, I put a picture up on something too.
Yeah, I know. I know what 100 dribble is. Nigga, they put fruits in it and all.
I hate those.
Already in it though, so they wouldn't know.
I mean, niggas got 100 dribbles everywhere. They just might call it by a different name.
Yeah, ISIS.
Never knew until I got here.
You mean they have 100 dribbles where y'all from?
The crazy lady.
See, they slow up there, man. That's all they know.
Nigga close to they slow up there.
They behind.
They ain't behind, man. It ain't hard, man. That's just how niggas hustle in the project, man. In the day.
Well, I guess y'all call them ice when you freeze
You just put Kool-Aid in the cup and freeze it.
yeah, see, they call it ISIS.
That was I know they had to call it by something.
Yeah.
Freeze cup like
Yeah,
We call it 100 dribbles.
We call it 100 dribbles around these part.
That's my first time ever hearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call it 100 dribbles.
All counts, that's right. You never heard me say that John Green either, did you? Yeah, you don't even know what I mean when I say it.
Yeah, somebody say something green around it. They say that's kind of lame. You know what I'm saying? You're real square. Like I said, you're an L7. That would have
It
said
can
you're
mean
real
other
square.
things too, but it's kind of hard to describe.
Yeah, it is. It depends on the context of what is being used. But 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 19. Nevertheless, the foundation of God stands sure, having this seal, the Lord knows them that are his, and let everyone that name the name of the Messiah depart from iniquity. That's what we got to always remember. You're going to put your name, you're going to put Israel on yourself. You're going to put Yahshua on yourself. Ain't got no business committing sin. I know somebody like to always scream about the Lord, but they like to commit sin. I don't know his name. You know his name. You don't know his name. Well, I could promise I know that nigga's name. Maybe it'll come to me later. He said, but in a great house.
They love those things.
Bro, you know his name? What his name is? Tighten up here, boy. Get rolled all night, man. I get tired of hearing the same thing over and over again. I really do. It'd be different if your mama came and told me, yeah, he just a little boy that went up ahead, but a little boy knocked all the teeth out of his mouth. But it's the same thing every time. Same thing every time. Running your mouth to grown people. He said, but in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of the earth. Some to honor, some to dishonor. If any man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. Flee also youthful lusts, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, and peace with them that call on the Lord have a pure heart. That's why childhood and youth is vanity. Because you sit back and you look at when you young, you lust after everything. That's why you be around there stealing. Because you probably think about all the little toys you might get out of Family Dollar. You know what I'm talking about? Little toys you can get out of. I mean, I used to know, boy, when I was about your age, I ain't steal from people. I go in the store and knock their whole dome loose though. So did. So shoot, no, he get caught. Then they gonna take him to jail, and the little boys in DDC gonna get you. Then we gonna see how tough he is. Then it's gonna be a little different. You stealing from the schoolhouse. They don't call the people on you. Steal out that store if you want, boy. You going down there to East 8th Street. Bet you don't want to go down there. Bet you don't want to go down there. Then you sitting in there in them little chairs looking stupid. They put you in there, now you got a snack. You sitting there looking at, can I get a snack? The little boy beat you up, take your milk and cookies. They really do get them little kids snacks, and I think they really give them milk and cookies too. Little sandwich, stuff like that. I'm dead serious. You know what I'm talking about? They got a place for, I'm talking about they got, well, these white folks got a place for you, man. They don't even care nothing about you being 8 years old now. They go in there and take you down there, let you sit down there, let you sit down there with some juvenile criminals. Then they walk up to you, just slap you on general principle, just see what you gonna do. You sit in there, boom, 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 they gonna hit you again. Boom, 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 I'm gonna hit you again. Ain't no fact, well, I ain't lying there. Ain't no way about it, he gonna have to fight. I'm talking about they gonna be the man, and you either gonna sit there and fight, or you gonna fold up like a little girl, just but you think about it next time you go touch somebody's stuff, come back out of there, y'all all swole, looking like the elephant man, that nigga won't never steal ever again. You think it's, I see he's sitting there looking stupid because he think it's a game. See, think these white folks won't put somewhere to you. They got somewhere for you. See, we trying to get you straight for the white folk get hold to you. Because once the white folk get hold to you, ain't gonna be no mercy then. They don't want to talk. I guarantee your black behind ain't going to no correctional facility running your mouth. They're probably gonna slap all the teeth out your mouth and dare you to cry. See, we trying to spare you from that now. Lord trying to save your soul, and we trying to spare you going down that road, but you gonna keep on, you gonna be one of the niggas go to jailhouse, and you ain't gonna go to jailhouse because ain't nobody try to teach you better or show you better or because ain't nobody love you. You just gonna go because you a hard-headed, ignorant, stupid little nigga who want to be sitting around a whole bunch of men for the rest of his life. There ain't no way around it. Because that's what's gonna happen to you. You gonna wake up every day looking at me and talking about, I want my mama. Ain't nobody don't care nothing about want your mama. You better get your black butt out this cell and mop it. It's clean up day, nigga. Fix that bump. Have you marching around here? Better tighten your behind up, boy. This ain't no joke, ain't no game. I'm telling you, I done been to prison, boy. You don't want no parts of that. I ain't never been to DDC or no juvenile camp. You don't want no parts of that. You don't want to live your life like that. Come on back around here to second. Ecclesiastes chapter 2. Let's tighten up. Hold on. Look over here to John chapter 18. Because this man say he got to go back to the dust. Then we'll go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Let's tighten up, son. Ain't that serious now? You're making some bad choices. Your whole life dictated on the choices that you make. Choices you making, they real deplorable. John chapter 18, about verse 8. Matter of fact, make it about verse 4. We'll see if we catch this here. This is one of these things we looked at last night. Yahshua, therefore, come and see what you. Let's see if this is what you had in your mind when I asked you, because I didn't ask you later, little mama. About when they said, asked him, was he the man that came out of Judah? Let's see if this is the one you land in your head. Yahshua, therefore, knowing all things should come upon him, went forth and said unto them, whom seek ye? They answered him, Yahshua Nazareth. Yahshua said unto him, I am he. And Judas also, which betrayed him, stood with him, and as soon as he had said unto them, I am he, they went backward and fell to the ground. And that's the same thing they asked him, you the man come from Judah? He said, yeah, that's me. That's the one you had in your head. I talked to you, don't let me forget. Then he asked he them again, whom seek ye? And they said, Yahshua Nazareth. Yahshua answered, I told you that I am he. If therefore ye seek me, let these go their way, that the saying might be fulfilled, which he spake of them which thou gave me, I have lost none. Then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it, and smote the high priest's servant, and cut off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. Then said Yahshua unto Peter, put up thy sword into thy sheath. The cup which my Father hath given me, shall I not drink it? Man sit back and say, I got to die. My labor finished. Did you have in your mind, little buffer, when they asked him, was he the Messiah or not? When they say, we adjure you by the living God, tell us if you be the Messiah, the Son of God. We'll see which one you had. But you see back, he said, I got to die, man. My work is finished. Huh? Well, I deal with it a little bit. Come on back to Ecclesiastes 12. Because he said, for your labor, you got to go back to the dust. I think some of y'all forget that he said in Adam all died. You're going to have to leave here. Ecclesiastes 12 and 7. I'm trying to remember what I said, where he told him, man, you don't even know when you leave this stuff if you're going to leave it to a fool or leave it to a wise son. He said, that's also vanity of spirit and vexation of the heart. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. So after you done did all the work for your wife, you got to go back to the dust. Yahshua followed this same pattern because he cursed the ground. Now let's look back at Ecclesiastes chapter 2. What you laughing at now?
No, I was staring at her and she started laughing. I kept a serious face, so she stopped laughing real quick.
Ecclesiastes chapter 2 now.
I just said it when you just stare at a nigga with a serious face.
You see it there, they wonder what's going on.
They see you ain't laughing.
What's going on? That nigga looking at me like it's a game. Nigga get throat punched on general principle. You might need to take this. What do you say, fat boy? We might have to pick this nigga up, drop him off out east or something. Drop that nigga off out east. Bet that nigga mind get right then. Go around out east, steal them niggas stuff, see what they do to you. Go around there, put them in them schools out east, let them go around there, taking them little kid dollars out there, putting his hands on the people churn. I bet that nigga keep his hand to himself. I'm talking about that nigga won't even reach for his own lunch money. He said, and I turned myself to behold wisdom and madness and folly. For what can the man do that come after the king, even that which has been done, already done? That's what we had to come and look at tonight, what we're going to have to begin to consider. What can we do if we come after the king, but already what's been done? Luke chapter 24, verse 25. That's what every one of us need to start considering. If the king done already came, then you need to follow the pattern of what the king did. See, a lot of us ain't following the pattern of what the king did. That's why we got in your behind. You always want to sing to the Lord and read the book, but you ain't doing what the king did. That makes absolutely no sense. Luke chapter 24, verse 25. Then he said unto them, O fools and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not the Messiah had to suffer these things to enter into his glory? That's the thing that every last one of us going to have to consider. You're going to have to suffer some things to enter into glory. And the reason why some of y'all won't enter into it because you utterly refuse to suffer these things and you will do everything in your power to avoid them, which shows that you are not a son but a bastard. Because this man just told these men, he just called his own disciples fools and slow of heart to believe what the book said, because this man said, I must suffer to get this. This has to happen for me to achieve this. So in order for us to get it, then these things must happen. 1 Peter chapter 4. You know, we got to look at an epistle letter, because somebody told me one day, can't remember his name, that we didn't need no law and prophets to validate any of these things. I can't remember his name. Verse 12. He said, Beloved, think it not a strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. See, a lot of time, man, stuff come up, and this man trying you to prove you out to get you clean, and you think something strange happened to you. He said, but rejoice, inasmuch as you are partakers of the Messiah's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. If you be reproached for the name of the Messiah, happy are ye. For the Spirit of glory and of God rest upon you. On their part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief. Let nobody suffer as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters. Yet if any man suffer as a Jew, because we know you no Christian, but you know somebody call you a Christian, boy, you should be offended. That nigga living like a Christian. A little boy right now. He do what Christians do. I praise God, but I steal when ain't nobody looking. He said, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on his behalf. So now we got to sit back and look at something. If you going to suffer, don't be suffering because you hate your brother in your heart and you a murderer. Or you a liar, because liars are murderers, because telling lies, because he said that Satan was a murderer and the father of lies. Because that's how he became classified a murderer, because he told lies, brought death in the world. Then he sat back and said, don't even suffer as a thief, or somebody doing wrong, or you around here worrying about what other people do instead of maintaining to your own stuff. See, that's to sit back and look at it, what you suffering for. Let's look at Isaiah chapter 65. He said, if you be reproached for the Messiah, name of the Messiah, you blessed. He said, but the glory of God rests on you. See, a lot of y'all don't want that. You don't want to be disrespected for this man's name. We'll look at Acts chapter 4 after that. I remember I talking to this brother. That brother said, I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight. I ain't going to fight. I'm going to go ahead and take it. If I got to get hit upside the head for the word, people call me all type of names, I'll take that. I got to sit back and realize that he took that. That's why when he told you to remove sorrow from your heart, sit back and look at it. Yahshua was called a man of sorrows, Isaiah 53. That's why he told him you need to go ahead and get that out your heart. That's why he said with sorrow you'll labor the ground and you'll till it till you die. That man was sorrowful when he was sweating on that ground doing his work. I'm finna die. I got to go back to the dust. So you sit back and look at it. When you take on it now, you say much wisdom bring much grief, much sorrow. But you got to be willing to endure them sorrows to come on, because that means you ain't doing nothing but taking on what came to the king if you coming after him. Because if you coming after him, you're going to have to do what he did. Problem is, you don't want to do what he did. You want to talk about him, you want to claim him, but you don't want to do what he did. I'm talking about in all aspects though. Not just the suffering, I'm talking about the faith, the obedience. Everything that this man did, you're going to have to follow after and do it, or there's no way in the world you're going to be saved. Isaiah 65 about verse 14. Or it's actually Isaiah 66 and verse 5. He said, hear the word of Yah, ye that tremble at his word. Your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let Yah be glorified, but he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. But you sit back and look at it. His brethren that hated him is Yahshua, they cast him out. They said, let's take him and let's kill him. And they said that y'all, they was excited, God gonna be with him, but when the man get back here, he coming back for your joy. They gonna be ashamed. Come on over here to 1 John chapter 4. You have to sit back and look at it. When the man get back here, what type of heart you gonna have? What type of mind you gonna have when he get back here? Is your heart gonna be standing sure before God? After that, we go to Luke chapter 9, verse 23. Actually, it's 1 John chapter 3, verse 18. He said, my little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. We're going to love God. Just don't do it with your words and with your mouth. Do it in truth by the word, and do it with your actions. Hereby we know that we are of the truth and shall assure our hearts before him. For if our heart condemn us, God is greater than our heart and know all things. Beloved, if our heart condemn us not, then we have confidence towards God. And whatsoever we ask, we receive of him, because we keep his commandments and do those things that are pleasing in his sight. So when he said, if our heart condemn us, God is greater than our heart and know all things, what that take us back to, gentlemen? You know, little mother, how you lift your head up? You lift your head up like you know what was going on. Y'all know what that take us back to, y'all? Who knows? Jim Dandy? He said right there, if our heart condemn us, God is greater than our heart and know all things. What that take us back to? Adam. It take us back to Adam. When they sat back and when they seen he called for them, they were condemned in their heart. They went to hide themselves. You sit back, you already know, because in Hebrews chapter 10, he said when you break this man's law, there's a fearful look, a fiery indignation, you scared. Your heart done condemns you, you already know you're wrong. Y'all be doing the stuff, you know when you took that little girl dollar, you already knew you were wrong. When the lady came and confronted you and asked you, did you take that girl money? You came up with that lie because you already knew you were wrong. You didn't know you digging yourself a deeper and deeper hole. It don't make sense to do wrong. You already know you're wrong. Eventually it's going to be shown. Then the Lord said ain't nothing done in the dark that ain't going to be revealed, ain't it? Ain't nothing spoken in secret that ain't going to be screened on the rooftop. Eventually it's going to be shown. That's the only reason why you turn around and lie. That's why you tell lies 95% of the time. Unless you just one of the niggas that just volunteer lies and just like to lie for no reason. Because you know you've been undid something you ain't got no business and you finna get in trouble for it. So you figure let me go ahead and tell a lie. That'll get me out of trouble when really you just making it worse. You know what a real man do, Sharon? You know what a real man do? A real man will go ahead and cop to that. I did that. I was dead wrong and I did that. That's what a man will do. I have to take the consequences that come along with that. If you don't want to take the consequences that come along with negative behavior, you know what that tells us not to do? That tells us don't commit negative behavior. So if we don't want the consequences of burning in hell, that means we need to do what the man who came before us did. We need to walk in his footsteps. Isaiah chapter 35, verse 8. Then we'll still get to Luke chapter 9. How would that tell us? We seeking to get an inheritance, we're going to have to be willing to suffer. Isaiah 35 and 8. only shall be there in the way. It shall be called the way of Kodesh. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it should be for those wayfaring men. Though fools shall not err therein. Because Yahshua walked that way. That's why he told us he was the way. He walked that clean, set apart way. Now we're going to have to follow that same pattern because the king came before us and walked that clean and set apart way. Now how are we going to sit back and say we coming after the king and not walk the very same steps that he walked? Luke chapter 9 verse 23. If we desire to take on this man's nature and to take on and receive the things that the king received, then we're going to have to do these things. Because we just heard how he say Solomon made his people princes. His servants, princes and captains. We know Yahshua told us that he that overcome, I'll cause you to sit down in my throne as I sat down in my father's throne. He said, I'll set you up to rule over the nations. The same thing my father gave to me, I'll give to you if you my servants. I'll give you the same thing. Luke chapter 9 verse 23, if I can get there in a timely fashion. Let's see what the Lord told us to do. After that, we'll look at Luke chapter 14. As to his son he got to say. Matter of fact, make it about verse 20. I like verse 18 better. And it came to pass, as he was alone praying, his disciples were with him, and he asked them, saying, Whom say the people that I am? And they answering said, John the Baptist, but some said Elijah, and others say that one of the old prophets is risen again. He said unto them, But whom say ye that I am? Peter answered, the Messiah of God. And he straitly charged them and commanded them to tell no man that thing, saying, The Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and chief priests and scribes and be slain and raised the third day. Hold what you got. Come over here to John chapter 16 verse 1. He just sat back and told them, if you're going to take on the anointing, he said, I'm the anointed one of God. That's who you are. Well, if you're going to take this man's spirit on, that means you're going to have to take on everything that come along with it. And that man said, I'm going to be beaten by the scribe. They're going to kill me. See, some of y'all go to think about these people going to kill us about this here. It make you feel like, man, I don't want nothing to do with this. I ain't know I was going to have to die for it. That's why the man told you, blessed are those that are not offended in me. Why he told you that? He said, blessed are those that are not offended in me. When you sit back and you hear these things and his word, does it offend you? That's why he say he that is the seed that fall in the stony places, and he that had no root in himself, and he'll endure for a while, but when persecution or tribulation arise for the word, by and by he is offended. So you got a lot of people go to disrespecting you for the word, they get offended. Oh, I want to do it this way. I want to do this here. Some of y'all done already did it. Somebody done said something to you about the word, and your natural inclination was to jump up and fight and defend yourself, and you ended up committing sin because you either said something out your mouth you ain't had no business saying, or you did something you ain't had no business doing, and other than just sitting there and taking it. Not realizing who they really persecuting and who they really speaking against. It ain't you. Why anybody want to speak against any one of us? Who are we? It's not us they got a problem with. John chapter 16 verse 1. These things have I spoken unto you that you should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time come that whosoever kill you will think that he do God's service. See, that's not only just for those telling y'all, that's for people who preach the word. They're going to say it's going to time come, they're going to kill us. They're going to be thinking they doing God's service. Them people killed Yahshua, they thought they were doing God's service. Let's see John chapter 19. Hold on, let's finish verse 3. He said, these things will they do unto you because they have not known the Father nor me. Remember we were talking to y'all about that dude said, I don't know who sent you. Because you didn't know the Father. And you don't know the Son. That's why you wouldn't know me. That's why you wouldn't know any of his children. Would it make sense for somebody who's outside of this man's house to know God? If you ain't doing nothing God say you don't believe in, and there's no way you would know him, know his son, or any of those who are birthed of him. It would be impossible. That's why when he was talking all that trash, you know what I told him? I said, praise the Lord. I appreciate it. The man said, rejoice. He said, blessed are you when men persecute you and speak evil of you falsely for my name's sake. I don't care nothing about saying you saying the devil sent me. I don't care nothing about you calling me no lie. I'll laugh at you in your face. I'll say, thank the Lord. Don't bother me now. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga just like this here, he think he gonna bully somebody. Just let him know you talking to a man too. You don't scare nobody. You can huff and puff all you want. Ain't no fear in my heart now. Ain't nobody scared of you. The rest of these niggas might be scared of you. I ain't scared of you. I know you full of crap. You sit back, you look at these sinners, man, y'all should already know these people full of crap. All they're trying to do is intimidate you to get you to go off from what you standing on, what you profess you believe in. All they're trying to do is, if I can intimidate them or emotionally intimidate them or do this or say this or come with this or come with that, they'll leave it alone. Verse 4 though. But these things have I told you, that when the time shall come, you may remember that I told you of them. And these things I said not unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. So you got to sit back and remember, when this stuff come on to happen to you, the man had already told you. It ain't like you didn't know. People come and persecute y'all about certain stuff or say something to y'all about certain stuff about what y'all doing. Y'all sit there amazed that this person came and told you that. The man already told you they would do that. The man told you the disciple's not above his master. But if they persecuted me, they'll persecute you. He said the world cannot hate you. He said it's me that it hates, because I testify of it that the works are evil. So you sit back and you say, oh, I'm a Jew. I serve the Messiah. I live cold death. You should expect that. That comes with the territory. Man, I already told you. Y'all did know the man already told you all that, didn't he? He done already told you. That's why that stuff shouldn't even bother you. John chapter 19. About verse 5. Then we come back to Luke chapter 9. I thank the Lord. Then came Yahshua forth wearing a crown of thorns and a purple robe, and Pilate said unto him, Behold the man. And when the chiefs priests therefore, and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, Crucify him, crucify him. Pilate said unto them, Take ye him and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. The Jews answered him, We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God. See, they thought they were doing God's service by killing him. They said he was blaspheming. He said he was the Son of God. They thought they were doing him service. They're go ahead and kill him. Well, people going to come up behind us, and they're going to think they're going to be doing God's service. Let's kill these people. They talking about you can't do this, you can't do that. And why you think they sitting there messing with them false prophets in Houston by around here talking about don't preach about no sissies? I don't want you sitting around here and talk about that. Don't talk about no homosexuals. It's all right for you to be a homosexual. We ain't got no problem with that. The mayor is a lesbian. We want more homosexuals and more openly play, because the whole world ran by homosexuals. Y'all do know that, don't you? How many of y'all didn't know that? That the whole world is ran by homosexuals. You knew that, didn't you? Whole world ran by homosexuals. It's just now we done got to the time, place in history where they can come out from behind the shadow where they've been hiding, playing with each other, and come out in the open because it's more acceptable. See, they could have came out 30 years ago. And I'm talking about and be open in certain places. You know what I'm talking about? Now they can come out. Don't nobody care. Ain't a big deal. I remember she sent me a picture talking about we love our transgender and LGBT kids. I don't love none of you niggas. I hope y'all go to hell. Around here, especially a nigga done cut off his penis. Nigga done cut, hold on. Deuteronomy chapter 2 and 3. Let's see what happened to a nigga cut his penis off. Let's see what happened to a nigga go cut his swack off. So you know something got to be wrong with a nigga. He go cut his penis off. Nigga don't even want to think about getting struck below the belt. This nigga go cut his off. Deuteronomy 23 and 1. You know something got to be wrong with you. You go do that. I shudder to think about it. Nigga, what's that procedure they be telling men to go get so they don't have no babies? A vasectomy. Ain't no way in the world you finna come do that to me. I'm straight. You ain't finna be taking no knives and nothing cutting around up, man.
You gonna get one. Can't have no little nigga like you walking around.
You got me bent. You know what I'm talking about? You got me bent all the way around. My mama ain't birthed no ugly baby. Then on top of that, there. Well, ain't nobody bringing no knife, no scalpel, no nothing. I don't want a nigga, man, don't even breathe too hard around it, man. I get nervous. Straight up. Well, y'all know that's a sense of rare, boy. You want to make a man fold up, that's all you got to do. It don't even take much force either.
You just fake like you're very good.
I'm telling you, nigga, you just fake at a nigga growing, he fold up. Come on now, you playing too much.
You got it, bro. You got
Playing too much. I know I ain't lying. What, you got a phone, boy? You gonna call somebody's phone, boy? I don't know, we got to watch it now. We got to watch it. Watch it. They say you call you quick, bro. So that nigga quick drop. Boy, nigga lay something down, nigga turn back around, nigga gone. Nigga say, wait a minute. And nigga say, Sharon just walked past here. That nigga got it. You set yourself up for this. Maybe one day you'll sit back and think, I'm getting tired of getting rolled like this. Maybe you'll stop. Keep on stealing. I'm going to keep on doing it. And see, please don't think I ain't playing, boy. I got to have that chest, man. I got to have it. I ain't even going to sleep right at night if I don't come one day and then catch you in your chest. He think I'm playing. He think I ain't going to do it to him. He think I ain't going to do it. What you think? I'm asking you, your opinion. You think I'm gonna do it? He just sitting there. I know you know I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna let you. I'm talking about you just gonna be bouncing around. Wow! I wanna make sure you can't breathe or nothing. You ever somebody hit you, boy? They like all. I remember Teron did me like that, man. We were young. We were messing around doing something. That nigga messing around and caught me, man. Well, I was down for about 4 minutes. All the wind went out. If you play football, y'all know how that feel, boy. Nigga knock that wind out your boy. You feel like, man, look here, like you finna die. I'm talking about it's a horrible feeling when you get the wind knocked out you. I'm telling you, that's a light feeling of what it would feel like when that man take his spirit by you. You know what I'm talking about? That's a light feeling of what it feels like when that man take his spirit back. Cause basically the spirit, a life, that's the breath that's in your lungs. Boy, that gone, you done. You ever had that wind knocked out your boy? That's a light feeling, how it feel like to be dead. Well, the difference is you still conscious though. Hopefully we can recreate that for you. Yeah. Hopefully we can recreate that for you. Maybe that if the lighter didn't do the job, hopefully we knock the wind out you, that'll do the job. Deuteronomy 23:1. He said, he that is wounded in the stones, or have his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of Yah. So a nigga that had his swat cut off, we can go ahead and just stand there. You going to hell. That's what the law say. Is that what I say? That's what the law say. Better nigga sit around and think about, he cut his penis off next time. Nigga cut his penis off, boy, you done. You know how many he-she's out here through? You know one did it, don't you?
It's some at the place.
They on their way. Deuce. Boy, you done did that with that, you done. Leave with a woman. Woman ain't never got to worry about that. You got an open woman. All you can do is put a strap on. You know what I'm talking about? I never understood that anyway. Woman say she don't want a man, then you get a dildo or a strap on and then enter her like a man. Woman, something wrong with you. You might as well went and got a man for this. That makes no sense. I didn't understand that when I was younger. So you mean to tell me you don't want a man, but you got this woman who looks harder than the nigga who's standing next to her. Y'all went and bought a penis facsimile and you use it. But you don't want no man. This is interesting. Why a man would want to cut his penis off to have a vagina, I have no idea. But either way it go, he's done. Back to Luke chapter 9. I just don't know what's wrong with you. See, guess what? See, you got 501c3, you can't talk like that. You can't talk like that. You can't sit there and say, man, you going to hell, you cut your penis off, you nasty boy. Wrong with you. These niggas around here taking hormones, got titties. Man, I was in prison, I remember nigga told me, that nigga said, yeah, man, I paid that nigga $20 to see his titties. I ain't seen titties in 3 years. I said, you do know you see titties every day, right? I say, it's women working in prison. I say, you do know you see titties every day. I say, you are aware that that is a man. That this nigga penis might be bigger than yours, and you paying this nigga to see his breasts. The worst part was, this nigga had hips and all, to where some of the female COs were jealous at the nigga, talking about the nigga had a better body than them. I ain't lying, we was in Weehawken, Florida. You know ain't too many black people out there, man. I never heard of the city till I got there. I wish I was lying, but I wasn't. Them niggas were lining up with big bag, purple bag, blue bag, full of snipes, full of cigarettes, to take this sissy booty nigga. I'm talking about running it down. So what I'm saying, nigga, boy, y'all, I told the women that, I told Fat Boy that he got to see it live for himself. I used to tell some of them women that when I came out of prison. I said, you better watch them niggas come home from prison, man. You better check some of them niggas. Because some of them niggas might have been messing with boy. Somebody just came, I just seen one of my little homeboy today. Well, yesterday. He was like, yeah, man, you heard about bro? They say he up there messing with boys. I said, I don't know nothing about that. I said, I can't speak on that. You know what I'm talking about? I said, You sounded like you confirming. You sound like you confirming what he heard. I said, I can't speak on that. I don't know nothing about that. I just know the nigga too comfortable up there. That much I do know. I know when he got out of prison the first time, his old lady tried him, and he told us that too. She said, yo man, she tried to stick a finger in my booty. I said, now you gotta ask yourself this question. You just come out of prison. What about you would make a woman feel comfortable enough to try to violate your rectum? You know what I'm talking about? I'm just being honest now. As a man, that's how I'm sitting back and think. What did you see about me that caused you to feel like you could try to give me a prostate exam in this room? You know what I'm talking about? I'm just being honest now. That's just being honest. Like I say, because I ain't going to call the man's name out because I can't verify nor refute the claim. I got my own personal opinion on the matter, but it ain't my place to speak on that. I got my own personal opinion on the matter, but the little nigga came up and told me, he said, yeah man, they say bro messing with them punk. I said, I don't know nothing about that. I said, I don't even want to talk about it. You know what I'm talking about? Cause I can't speak on that. I ain't gonna throw a man's name up under the ground, and I don't know if he did that or not. I got my opinion on it. I keep it to myself. But I know plenty of young niggas who was up there doing it though. Niggas who had a year and a half. Niggas had 2 years. I'm talking about niggas just came up there, had 13 months, and had but 6 months left to go. Won't boot it. Come back around here like Pimp C say, poisoning all the vagina population. You know what I'm talking about? Man, all these young girls out here, some of these women out here want to run up on these niggas who been in prison. They right as hell, but you better double check them niggas, boy. Some of them niggas been sniffing for dookie. Call them nigga booty bandits. You know what I'm talking about? That's what they call them nigga, booty bandits. I met a nigga straight up and down. Nigga had a C letter, been in prison 4 times. Big nigga, man. About 330 some odd pounds. Nigga looked me in my face. I'm talking about not big. I'm talking he's a big nigga, but I'm talking about this nigga was knocking niggas out. That nigga looked me square in my face. He say, my nigga. He said, I don't want no woman when I get up out of here, man. I'm good. I say, nigga, what? I don't want no woman. I said, I said, nigga, you sound crazy. I'm talking about, boy, when you get it in prison, when I got it in prison, you wouldn't know all these niggas were messing with punks.
I know, dog.
Got me bent, boy.
Right.
One thing for sure, 2 things for sure. What can that nigga skin dry and rough as mine do for me? What can that nigga do for me? You know what I'm talking about? This nigga, I'm talking about, I was in the box with a nigga. Nigga changed his name to a woman name. Nigga said, I could have went to a female prison. I said, you do know you are a man, right? I had a choice. You had a choice, right? So the state of Florida didn't let you choose to come over here with men versus women. I said, nigga, your back wider than mine. That nigga said, I'm gonna go to the Middle East. I said, you do know they gonna kill you, nigga. You are a faggot. That nigga say, I'm confused. I said, I know you will. Nigga told me he slept with a man and the man didn't know he was a boy. I said, you mean to tell me that man didn't know the difference between a booty hole and a vagina? There is a major difference. One produce moisture, one don't.
Unless.
Nigga, ain't no natural moisture coming out no rascal. Like they're talking about, but I'm talking about, this is what's going on with our people though. The way these niggas is walking around here messing with boys. I'm talking about, man, I done ran across niggas never been to prison messing with boys. I'm talking about the punk came down there on the beach, man, told them nigga went to ranking on that punk. That punk said, I don't know what half you niggas laughing for. Half you done tricked with me, and these niggas went to doing this. Nigga went to dropping their head, I already know. You trick with it, you trick with it, you trick with it. You nigga ain't have to say a word. Nigga dropping your head. What's wrong with you nigga 2, 3 o'clock in the morning? Man, they better all go home and masturbate, boy, before you go sleep with a man. I don't care how much cocaine you on. Man, you might well do it like Willie said, you better beat that thing till it bleed. Boy, you better go do something. Boy, he ain't never no rhyme or no reading to do that. Man, I had a little dude tell me he was smoking weed and the punk accidentally gave him some head because he was high on some weed. I said, how can a nigga accidentally put your penis in his mouth? I had a young man tell me I accidentally gave him some head, bro. I said, how did you accidentally put a man's penis in your mouth, man? Young nigga, 22, 23 years old, looked me in my face, told me, I'm telling that's road prison, man. No joke, man. Nigga said I accidentally gave him some head, bro. You accidentally grip a man's penis, put your mouth on it. These young niggas. Young niggas. That's why they like Young Thug. That's why I seen nigga putting the picture up. Nigga did look like KJ too. I think it was Walker Flock. Nigga standing on there with tights on because KJ put a picture up. They were climbing and talking about, nigga, I thought that was you. Nigga got on Timberland boots, some leggings and a dress. That's what the nigga got on. That's why these niggas out here, nigga Kanye been wearing dresses for 5-6 years, man. I'm talking about our people is in desperate trouble. Ain't nobody gonna stand there and tell these young men, man, y'all need to be a man. Stand up, be a man. Stop being a Nancy boy. Luke chapter 9, verse 22. It's just ridiculous, man. And then these people out here, don't speak against it. I'm gonna sit there and hear you nasty bastard. Matter of fact, hold on. Deuteronomy chapter 23, I believe. Might be 22. Let me see if it's 23 I want. Since I said it. I want y'all to know it on both ends. Because something got to be seriously wrong with you when you do that. That's Deuteronomy 23 and 17. Something got to be seriously wrong with you. He said, there shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel. That's something serious right there. Also, in Leviticus, he said, don't prostitute your daughter and cause her to be a whore. I just was on the bus and heard a young woman say, yeah, my mama hooked me up with this dude so I could get, I said, yo, I'm thinking to myself, your mama? Why is your mama hooking your young behind up with a man? Then she turned in the same breath and say she carpet munching. I said, this wild people in trouble. How many of y'all sit back and seen young mamas hooking up young girls with boys? Just sitting there messing their daughters up, teaching them stuff they ain't even got no business learning. Man just sat back and said a commandment, our daughter shouldn't be whore. And what do? We want them to follow Beyonce. She's a whore #1 supreme. Nigga, I'm talking about, nigga get caught. I don't even care nothing about that Illuminati stuff. That stuff is irrelevant to me at this point. But I'm talking about, just look at the stuff they put out here to our daughters though. Now they strive to achieve to be known for twerking. For popping their butt cheek. That's all you known for. Taking pictures with your butt on a sink counter. That's all you known for. You just a slut and a whore. That man say don't even be that there. We already know ain't no man got no business being no sissy. I'm telling you, that's the worst. And it's amazing that the father would mention these two things. Because as a man, that's the worst thing you could ever be told. Somebody come tell you your daughter's a whore. But I break your heart. I'm talking about that'll make a man who had a child break his heart. That nigga fold up and cry, man. Why do you feel somebody can't tell your daughter? I've been being honest with you. I used to sit back and think about that. When little mama was, I said, nigga, better not never come to. I said, well, I might kill myself. I said, you might as well just go and bring the 45 in here with me. Then go and pull the trigger. Then put me out my misery. I done failed. I ain't lying. That's how I always say. I done failed. Ain't nowhere in the world. And the same way somebody come tell you your son is a faggot, boy, you gonna be like this here. That's all you gonna do, man. I'm talking about, boy, that's it. For a father, that's the word too. See, some women, they'll be like this here, you know your daughter's a whore. Well, you know your son's a sister. Well, that's my son. You know what I'm talking about? Some of them sit back and be like this here. You come tell a man your daughter's a whore. Oh my God.
I got killed.
This killed me. Cause that's how I'ma think. I done failed. Just killed me. I don't even want to live no more. My daughter did what? Boy, you come tell a man his son is sissy, boy, that man gonna be like this here. I'm just ready to end it. And that nigga bet not. Boy, that movie what he said, don't you never bring your faggot butt back around here no more. You are dead to me. Don't knock on the door. Don't call. Don't come around here. People, you can't do your kids like that. You got to love him. I'm gonna love that nigga all right. I'm gonna love him all right. I'm gonna love to knock that nigga out every time I see him. Don't you bring your sissy booty back around here, man. I'm straight. Don't come back around here. Don't come back around here. I'm just being real. You around here sleeping, putting your mouth on any and every man come by. Sleeping at, man, don't you bring your whore's butt back around here. Don't come back around here. I have no daughter. If I taught you better than that, don't you come back around here. Now, if I ain't taught you better than that, I can't do nothing. Be like, oh, man. If I taught you better than that, man, don't you come back around here, man. I promise you don't come. I ain't got no daughter. Niggas be like this, how could you do your child like that? Real easy. Don't come back around here. I taught you better than that? Yeah, don't come back around here. You ain't even got to teach a nigga better than that. You just automatically assume, boy, my son shouldn't be taking no penis in his butt. Don't come around here, boy. You around here putting dresses on, talking about, Daddy, I need money for gender reassignment surgery. You don't need some reassignment, nigga. Must reassign you to the coroner's office. I'm finna kill me a nigga. You just wait right here. I'm gonna cut it off for you. Ain't nobody else gotta do it. I'm gonna cut it off for you, nigga. Along with a few other things. Straight up. Luke chapter 9. I ain't with that junk. You ain't finna bring that to my house. I've been told some of y'all that long time ago. I get married, man, my kids in the house, man, I catch you having sex in my house, I'm putting you out, because the only person getting freaky in here is me and your mama. You know what I'm talking about? You getting freaky in here, that means you grown and you can pay some rent. So that means you got to go. Because I don't need to be walking in my front door smelling sex, and I be like, I'm right here, your mama ain't here. I don't even see your mama. I smell sex though. All those stuff at the front door. I don't care you're 13, 14 years old, but you gotta get out of here, boy, because boy, that ain't gonna work. Ain't nobody getting freaky under my roof with me and your mama. That ain't happening. I don't know how the rest of y'all feel about it. You know, you got some people, they let their kid have sex in the house. They be ain't nowhere in the world I walk in here, somebody banging up on my door. I'm gonna kill everybody. I couldn't do it. You know, that's that white folks stuff, but some of these black people doing it too, though. That's when these white folks, you know, black folks doing it too, though. That's that white folks stuff. Let the kid, he gonna do it anyway, but she ain't gonna do it here. He ain't gonna do it here. He's finna get freaked at my house. I ain't with it. I'm talking about, no, man, I ain't with it. I ain't with it. I ain't even gonna walk in the door and say, look at my boy. My boy. And no, nigga, hey, pack your stuff, nigga. Pack your stuff. I'm talking about, some of y'all know y'all were growing up to go do it in your mama's bed. No, let me come in there and catch it. I'm gonna put you out of here. Nigga got me bodily fluids all in my eye, all in my sheets. This nasty nigga. Somebody got to go. Somebody got to go. And it ain't gonna be me. I don't know where you gonna stay at. I don't know what you gonna do. You can't stay here, nigga. This nigga done soiled my sheets. I'm talking about, oh no. I'm talking about big grounds to get a nigga that I don't walk in here. There is a semen stain in my sheets. Oh no, this nigga can't stay here. No way. Ain't no way. I'm talking about that's some of y'all probably sit there. I'ma just talk to him. I'ma talk to that nigga all right. I'ma be talking while I'm packing. You done called that cab yet? Who coming to get you? Who know? I don't know what you gonna do then. You can't stay here. You can't stay here. I promise to you. Especially, man, if my child that old enough to be doing that, then you know we walking and living in the world. You can't live here. You can't live here. I'm talking about, boy, you were old enough, I bet your mom put you out. See, you ain't old enough. Cause I know if I was up, I'd put your black behind out. You about 15, 16, older. The age and consent state for 16, you can drop out of school. I'm going to drop you out my front door. You know what I'm talking about? Keep buzzing. I just might done take you to the white man. I'm through with this nigga. Y'all do what you want to with him. He want to be a slave anyway. He want to put on a blue suit and work for you. Drop you right on off. Now, you should have thought about that there about 10, 15 years ago, nigga. You get on out of here, man. I'm going to let these white folk have you. Maybe you'll listen to them. I'm telling you, I ain't with it, boy. Old disobedient child. That's why the Lord put us out the house. These old disobedient niggas, we get these niggas out of here. Luke chapter 9, verse 22. It gets to the thing at hand. I just had to, man, look here. I just might be different from other people. I'm going to get your black butt out my house, though. You can't stay here. Verse 22, actually. He's saying, the Son of Man shall suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and the chief priests and scribes and be slain and be raised the third day. And he said to them all, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. So you know what he said right there? He said, you got to be willing to lose, to willing to suffer and willing to sacrifice. He said anything happen to the king gonna come to those that come after. Romans chapter 12, verse 1. Maybe we'll look at 1 Corinthians chapter, 2 Corinthians chapter 1. After that, we still need to hit Acts chapter 4. You have to keep that in mind, though, so I'm telling you, boy. Nigga put you out of here, boy. God put disobedient children out of the house, boy. Matter of fact, since we think about some disobedient children, should we go look at Elisha? Nah, we ain't gonna go look at Elisha. We ain't gonna look at Elisha. You know what Elisha did? You know what Elisha did? You remember y'all brothers know what Elisha did? Elisha called them bears out there, man. Them bears came out there and ate them old stubborn disobedient children, called them balls. Disrespect for children. They disrespect the man of God. It cost them their life. You know what I'm talking about? I done told you this before. You supposed to give adults and people authority over you the same respect you give me. You just heard that epistle letter. You've been heard it before. How you supposed to respect these people while we up under their authority, yet you still do it. So you a nigga want to go there. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you like you grown. You do grown man stuff. Gotta talk to you like you grown. Can't talk to you like a child. You want to be grown? We gonna deal with you like you grown. It's only fair. Wouldn't you say? I don't say perhaps. I say that's 100% lie. You want to do grown man stuff? You want to tell lies? You want to steal? That's grown man stuff. So we got to treat you like a grown man. Don't look like you can take it too well. Romans chapter 12, verse 1. He said, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, kodesh, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. See, that's what Yahshua came back round and did. See, he showed what was acceptable before God. Let's look and see in John chapter 8. Then we can go look at Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 1. Let's look at John chapter 8. He came to prove what that is acceptable and perfect will of God. John chapter 8. I want to say about verse 24. We might move around a little bit in the chapter. We'll see what we can use. Lord permit we get to this 2 Corinthians and this Acts and this book of Acts. Lord we'll touch it. Lord we'll touch it. So we sit back and look at Acts, John chapter 8, verse 28. He said, then said Yahshua unto them, when you have lifted up the Son of Man, then you shall know that I am he. See, he's talking about making himself a sacrifice right here. And that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father hath taught me, I speak these things. And he that sent me is with me. The Father hath not left me alone, for I do always those things that please him. Let's go over here to Galatians chapter 2. Because he said, look here, I done died, I done suffered. He said, I don't do the things my own will. I do the things that please the Father. Let's see what Paul got to say about it. See, that's the reason why we really slack on a lot of things. Because we don't really want to sit back and do what the man said to do. Let's go right back to what we were talking about last night. Galatians chapter 2 by verse 16. After that, we can look at 2 Corinthians chapter 5 by verse 14. He said, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Yahshua the Messiah. Even we have believed in Yahshua the Messiah, that we might be justified by the faith of the Messiah. Not by the works of the law, for by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. And as we showed our dear sister the other day, same thing he told in Isaiah, by the knowledge of my righteous servant shall he justify many. That's where we get our justification, that is in the knowledge of the Son. Matter of fact, hold what you got. Come on over here to Philippians chapter 3. By verse 8. Make it verse 4. Matter of fact, make it 3. I'll start at verse 1. Get all this information in here. Finally, my brethren, rejoice in the Lord. To write the same things to you, to me indeed is not grievous, but for you it is safe. Beware of dogs. That's what some of y'all need to sit back, because we were talking about that last night. You need to beware of dogs, beware of evil workers, but beware of concision. See, a lot of y'all don't sit back and look at that. See, Yahshua warned them about that you need to be harmless as dogs, but wise as serpents. You need to be aware of certain things, because people coming in to work evil things. We say beware of dogs. You know what you're talking about? Y'all know what Yahshua called that woman? He called her a dog. Talking about Gentiles. Need to beware of these people. Need to beware of these people. And not just because of the stuff that they do to her, because we know these people done oppressed her, they done killed her, they rob from her, they steal her, anything they do. But they also try to come and influence to get us to serve their gods. How many times has some of y'all been approached by Gentiles trying to persuade you to serve their gods? They ain't got to come out right and say, serve my God. This little certain stuff. So you don't keep Halloween? Why wouldn't you do that? You don't celebrate Thanksgiving, Christmas. They bring little stuff up and they slide little stuff in and try to get you to serve their gods. What you doing on New Year's? I don't celebrate New Year's. Why wouldn't you celebrate New Year? This little simple stuff that people do. You won't even sit back and look at it. Sometimes you don't even sit back and realize that people trying to get you to serve their gods. Sometimes people just come with little simple stuff and try to get you to serve their God, which is their belly. To get you to go after your own lust like they go after their own lust. How many of y'all done had people try to entice you and tempt you to get you to do stuff you know you ain't got no business doing? That's why I say you got to be beware of these people. These people around here doing evil words, trying to get you to do the same thing. He said, for we are the circumcision will worship God in spirit and rejoice in the Messiah Yahshua and have no confidence in the flesh. He said, though I might also have confidence in the flesh, if any other man think that he whereof he might trust in the flesh, I more. He said, get what? I ain't got no confidence in the fact I'm an Israelite. He said, but if I did, even the more so. Why so? He said, I'm circumcised the 8th day. Circumcised the 8th day. And what is the day? It's the 8th day. Last great day of the feast. I think we're going to look at that in a minute. Of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of the Hebrews, as touching the law, a Pharisee. Concerning zeal, persecuting the assembly, touching the righteousness which is in the law, blameless. But what things were gained to me, those I counted loss for the Messiah. See, the things that would have been gained for Yahshua, because we know in 2 Corinthians chapter 8, Paul told us that he said the Messiah made himself poor that through his poverty we might be made rich. This man forsook everything he had in heaven. All the riches, all the honor, all the glory, all the things he possessed that we might get. That's why we have to turn around and be able to do the same thing. We didn't look into Luke chapter 14, but in Luke chapter 14, about verse 35, if I'm not mistaken, that man said, if you're not willing to forsake all that you have, you can't be his disciple. You're going to have to be willing to lose. That's the same thing we've seen with Abraham. He told Abraham, forsake all that you have and go into the place where I tell you to do. A lot of y'all not willing to give up the stuff that you got because you weren't about holding on to it. Matter of fact, hold what you got, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Trying to hold on to too much stuff. It ain't got necessarily be material stuff neither. Just got too much stuff in your heart, too many lusts, too many things you want to do, too many things you want to acquire. And it's bringing you down. And it's bringing you down. You ain't even able to keep your head above water. Hey there, listen. Hey there, new muffin. He said, wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which do easily beset us, and let us run the race that is set before us, looking unto Yahshua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. For consider him that endured such a contradiction of sinners against himself, lest you be wearied and faint in your minds. You have not yet resisted under blood, striving against sin. This man just sit back and say, you need to look at Yahshua. This man say the joy that was set before him endured it and took it on. Matthew chapter 24, verse 14. We'll come back to Philippians chapter 3. Also Deuteronomy chapter 17 and 1. Matthew chapter 24, verse 14. It's actually 13. Everybody all right? Everybody cool? Everybody easy? You over there chilling with your pappy? So you just happy to be here, huh? Well, we're happy you're able to join us. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. When we sit back and look at it, Yahshua was on that tree. He said, it's finished. He endured all the way to the end, and he became the Son of God. He was saved. He was delivered. In order for us to achieve that same thing, we're going to have to be able to endure all the way to the end. He sat back and said, looking at the joy that was set before him. Because when you're looking at John chapter 17, he had much joy. He kept talking about, Father, glorify thou me with the glory I had with you before the world was. You know what I'm talking about? When he sat back and he ran all these things down, he was praying for his apostles. And then later when he included us in it, to those who would believe on him through the word which they preached. There was joy before him. Sitting back knowing that I shall receive all the things which my Father promised me if I just finish this work. If I just finish this course. Because I done labored by the sweat of my brow to return to the dust. But when I come up out of this dust, I will inherit all things. We don't sit back and we don't have that mind to sit back and look at if I can endure and take on all these things for the joy that's set before me, which I shall receive. That's why he said if the Spirit of the Messiah rests on you and you be reproached for it, that you shall react with joy when that glory be revealed, because you will inherit all things. Philippians chapter 3. That's what people don't want to do. They don't want to deny their flesh. They don't want to take the persecution. They don't want to take the sufferings. They don't want to take these things that come along with the word, because you in actuality don't want to inherit all things. See, stuff get in the way. My kids, my wife, my husband, my job. Man, I got to do this. Man, I got to do that. Man, I got to do this. And I got to do this with the word. I got to do this here. This stuff get in the way. You're not going to be able to get it. When you look at Yahshua, none of these things got in the way for him. I can't make my life fit around the word. My life just got to fit. The word just going. You can't try to make the word fit around your life. Your life gonna have to fit around that word. Whatever thing got to be lost, it got to be lost. Philippians chapter 3, verse 7. He said, "But what things were gained to me, those I counted lost for the Messiah. Yea, doubtless, and I count all things but lost for the excellency of the knowledge of the Messiah, Yahshua my Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win the Messiah, and be found in him, not having my own righteousness, which is of the law, but that which is through the faith of the Messiah, the righteousness which is of God by faith." Listen what he said, "that I may know him, and the power of his resurrection, and the fellowship of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death." See, that's what you got to sit back and look at, that if you believe on this man, that you might know him through the volume of his book, and that you might know the power of his resurrection, and then be in agreement with his sufferings. Have fellowship with him. John chapter 17, verse 23. We'll come back to Galatians chapter 2. This man said he want to have fellowship with his suffering. This is a mind Paul had. He said, I want to be able to have fellowship with him, be one with these sufferings. See, a lot of y'all don't have that mind the way you want to be one with these sufferings. You want to avoid them. I don't want to suffer for the word. You know, when you sit back and you say you don't want to suffer for the word, you just telling the Most High, I don't want to be saved. That's not my desire. I don't want to be saved. I don't want to be like this man. He said, I in them and thou in me, that they may be made perfect in one, and that the world may know that thou hast sent me and hast loved them as thou loved me. For I will that they also whom thou hast given me be with me where I am, that they may behold my glory which thou hast given me, for thou loved me from the foundation of the world. That man just sat back and said, I in them and thou in me, that they might be made perfect, that the world might know that you sent me. Hebrews chapter 2. We get back to Galatians chapter 2. Hebrews chapter 2. How else the world gonna know that he sent him unless you suffer for the word? Hebrews chapter 2, by verse 9, I should say. Hebrews chapter 2, verse 9. Everybody all right on here? I don't know everybody speak that one. I was looking at something last night. Niggas used to be with us. I ain't gonna call his name. T know his name. But you don't say nothing though. I ain't your place to say nothing. This nigga say talking about the time I get back and try to show somebody some real stuff and they reject it because they think they know everything. And when I sat there and seen this ignorant nigga say that stupidity, I say, boy nigga, you just condemned yourself. How you gonna show somebody some real stuff and somebody showed you something real and you rejected it because you said you ain't have enough time? Hebrews chapter 2, verse 9. But we see Yahshua, who was made a little lower than the angels for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he by the grace of God should taste death for every man. For it became him for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, and bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through suffering. For both he that sanctifieth, and they who are sanctified are all of one, for which cause he is not ashamed to call them brethren. Now this man said he had to bring many sons into glory because the captain of our salvation was made perfect through sufferings. So if you're going to come under glory, how you not going to suffer? How you not going to be persecuted? How you not going to be disrespected? How you might not be beaten or killed or spit upon? How you not going to resist the flesh to obey the word? more things this man did, didn't he? I go back over here to Galatians chapter 2. What? Y'all right over there?
You alright?
Maybe I am, maybe I ain't. Maybe I got gas. I mean, I got gas like that. I could have it in my chest. Maybe got a belch. Verse 8. No.
Smell seeping out your mouth every time you open.
Well, if a nigga belch stink, something wrong with it. No. Niggas should never mistake a burp for flatulence. If somebody mistake a burp for flatulence, there is a severe problem.
Touche, I give you that one.
I know a man who that happened to once.
Doctors have their own distinct smell. You can tell them like a burp.
You know what I'm saying? That nigga say them niggas were riding. I wish I could have been there. That nigga say they were riding. The nigga didn't deny it. Nigga say they were riding and he burped. That nigga say, which one of you niggas farted? That nigga say, it was the garlic crab. I said, boy, ain't that but garlic crabs in the world. Nigga mistake that for a fart, boy. Something wrong with you. That ain't good, that man. He said, but if while we seek to be justified by the Messiah, we ourselves also are found sinners, as therefore the Messiah, the minister of sin, God forbid. For if I build again the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor. For I, through the law, am dead to the law, and I might live under God. I am crucified with the Messiah, nevertheless I live, yet not I, but the Messiah live in me, and the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Now you sit back and look at it. This man gave himself up. We just where Paul would say you need to offer yourself as a living sacrifice. Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 1. So you want to be willing to give yourself up. And you need to look at the type of sacrifice the man going to accept. I'll just bear with me. I'm going to get ready to let y'all go in a moment. Got a little bit more to talk. Just a little bit more. Thou shalt not sacrifice unto Yahweh thy God any bullock or sheep wherein is blemish or any evil favourness, for that is an abomination unto Yahweh thy God. So y'all think when y'all keep the Sabbath, don't eat no pork chop, you think you straight, but there's still blemishes in you. That man said he don't want that stuff. Hey, that's offensive. Y'all know what that means. Anybody ever had somebody brought you a gift and they just brought you anything? How you looked at it when they brought it to you? He said the sacrifice of the wicked is abomination unto y'all. He said how even much more when they bring it with a wicked mind. See, when Yahshua came brought his sacrifice, his mind was clear. Conscience was clear. Acts chapter 24, verse 14. He said, I already know this is a clean sacrifice here. Then we can look at 1 Peter chapter 1. Well, Leah, in your room. She in that coffin hard. Huh? Oh. Matter of fact, back him up by verse 10. Let's sit back and look at this man. Matter of fact, look at verse 4. Let's sit back and look at this man who was being persecuted, willing to take these things for the word. Notwithstanding that I be not further tedious unto thee, I pray thee that thou would hear us of thy clemency a few words. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow, and a mover of sedation. See, they were trying to say this man was trying to cause a rebellion among all the Jews throughout the world, and the ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes, who also have gone about to profane the temple, whom we took, and we would have judged according to our law. See, they wanted to do something to this man as if they had been doing God's service. For the chief captain Lysias came upon us, and with great violence took him away out of our hands, commanding his accusers to come unto thee by examining of whom thyself may take knowledge of all these things where we accuse him. And the Jews also assented, saying that these things were so. Then Paul, after the governor had beckoned unto him to speak, answered, For much as I know that thou hast been many years a judge unto this nation, I do more cheerfully answer for myself. Because that thou may understand that there are yet but 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem for to worship. And they neither found me in the temple disputing with any man, neither raising up the people, neither in the synagogues, nor in the city. Neither can they prove the things whereof they now accuse me. He said, but this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which were written in the law and the prophets. See, that's the thing that's really tripped some of y'all up. Y'all don't believe everything that's written in this book. That would trip some of y'all up. Y'all don't believe everything written in this book. See, some people say we commit heresy because we believe in the Messiah. They say you a heretic. He said, have hope towards God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and the unjust. And herein I do exercise myself to have always a conscience void of offense toward God and toward man. I got to make sure my sacrifice is acceptable. I got to be able to prove that perfect will of God, to know I ain't offended God nor man. But you know that'll take us back to? Look at Mark chapter 12, verse 28. Let's see what that takes us to. He void of offense toward God and man. Mark chapter 12, verse 28. I appreciate everybody this evening. We rolling low. We rolling. It ain't too late. Want to be seen, huh?
Now you take care of it.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Shout out.
What you think this is, a hip hop record? They said I want to give a shout out to my man Easy B from 45th Street. That's what you want to do. And one of the scribes came, having heard them reasoning together and perceiving that he answered them well, asked him, which is the first commandment of all? Yahshua answered him, the first of all the commandments is, hear. That's the first thing y'all told you, hear. How about you listen for a time? But that's the biggest problem with some of y'all, you don't listen. Somebody tell you something, you just sit back looking retarded. Then you come back right back around and ask me what that was you said the other day. What that was you said the other day. That man said the first of all commandments is, hear, O Israel. Yah our God is one. Is one Lord. And thou shalt love Yah thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. And the second is like, namely this. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. And the scribe said unto him, well, master, thou hast said the truth. For there is one God, and there is none other but he. And to love him with all the heart, and with all the understanding, with all the soul, and with all the strength, and to love his neighbor as himself is more than all whole burnt offerings and sacrifices. And when Yahshua saw that he answered discreetly, he said unto him, thou art not far from the kingdom of God. Look at Hosea chapter 6. I would just sit back and look at that. Would the man? That's how you make yourself be a void of offense toward God and man. Hosea chapter 6 and 6. That's how you make yourself void of offense. To love God with all your heart and all your soul, and love your brothers, you love yourself. Same thing Yahshua did. He loved the Father unto death. He said, "The greater love had no man than this, that he laid his life down for a friend, even laid his life down for his neighbor." Even showed mercy to them that hated him, and compassion on those who sought him. He said, "For I desired mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings." That's your offering right there. When you present yourself as a living sacrifice, show what's acceptable to God, because you show mercy. And you have the knowledge of God. Because Paul told him, some of you have not the knowledge of God. I speak this to your shame. You sit back, you hear the word, you're not listening. Man say this is the first commandment. First thing he said out of his mouth is you need to listen. You need to listen. That's what some of y'all problem is. But let's look at this Acts chapter 4. See another example, man, taking it on, then we can wrap him up. I got one more thing. Well, Acts chapter 5, actually, verse 40. We know Paul wouldn't have taken it. Paul got stoned. Got up and went to preaching 10 times harder the next day. Acts chapter 5, verse 40. Well, 30. 40 is good. And to him they agreed, and when they had called the apostles and beaten them, they had commanded that they should not speak in the name of Yahshua, and they let them go. And they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name, And daily in the temple in every house they cease not to teach and preach Yahshua the Messiah. Now did Yahshua get beat too? It took some whip across his body. But you see that these men rejoiced because they were counted worthy to suffer shame. See, we have been told that it's not a glorifying thing to be shamed. Now there's no glory in being shamed when you're doing wrong, as you've been shamed all night. You know what I'm talking about? Because you've been doing wrong. But when you shame for doing right and you take it with patience, that's acceptable with God. That is a thing that you ought to rejoice in and thank, because that's a blessing. Your name written in heaven. No, that nigga sleep. So you came and bailed on out. 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 3. Second Corinthians chapter 1, verse 3. Blessed be God, even the Father of our Lord, Yahshua the Messiah, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comfort us in all our tribulation, that we may be able to comfort them which are in any trouble by the comfort wherewith we ourselves are comforted of God. So what is this comfort that they got? He said they being comforted. What is that comfort? Nobody knows? That would be the Spirit, which would be Noah, because I done comforted those because of the ground which I have cursed. So we sit back and look at it. That's why he called it the comforter, because it'll give you comfort to bring the word to your remembrance. Romans chapter 15. Romans chapter 15, verse 4. Lizzie said, that's not cool, Pops. Make it verse 1. He said, we then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak and not to please ourselves. The same saying Yahshua said. He said, I didn't come to do my own will, but the will of the Father. See, I lay my life down for the sheep. That's why he came back around and told us that we need to love each other. That's the new commandment that he gave us. He said the same way that he laid his life down for us, we ought to lay our life down for the brethren. Same thing that the king did, that's the same thing that those that come after him got to do. Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good, the edification, for even the Messiah pleased not himself, but as it is written, the reproaches of them that reproach thee fell on me. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Knowing that the Ruach HaKodesh will bring all things to remembrance what I have spoken unto you, that the word could be brought back to your mind that you might have hope. The hope is the evidence of things hoped for, the things not seen. That you haven't seen yourself receiving the kingdom. You haven't seen that glorified body. You haven't seen Yahshua return. But you know the comfort of what's been spoken in the word will cause you to continue to endure the shame, or to endure the cross, despising the shame, because of the joy that's been set before you. Because you heard, therefore you believe. He said, now the God of patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded one towards another, according to the Messiah Yahshua, that ye may with one mind and one mouth glorify God, even the Father of our Lord Yahshua the Messiah. Wherefore receive you one another, as the Messiah also received us, to the glory of God. Now I say that Yahshua the Messiah was a minister of the circumcision for the truth, to confirm the promises made unto the fathers. That ought to be your comfort, to know that the promises what the man made, you'll get it. If you're just able to endure, because if you suffer with him, you'll be an heir. Come on back over here to 2 Corinthians chapter 1. Verse 5. For as the sufferings of the Messiah abound in us, so our consolation also abounded by the Messiah. Because Yahshua told him in Matthew chapter 19, he said, those who have forsaken all shall in the regeneration receive 100-fold. Matthew chapter 19, verse 29. Make it 25. Lizzie? Lizzie? Hey.
Who that calling me?
Hello, Elizabeth. Call your whole name.
No.
Said, my name is Elizabeth. I'm not ashamed of Elizabeth. So I go by Numa. And when the disciples heard it, they were exceedingly amazed, saying, who then can be saved? Yahshua beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. Then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? Yahshua said unto them, truly I say unto you, that they which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, he shall also sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And everyone that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. And Yahshua did all of that. He forsook all to gain everlasting life. When y'all gonna be willing to do it so you can get it? 2 Corinthians chapter 1. Now remember, as we looked at this thing being perfect in one, and this oneness, because that's what we're going to end on this oneness, if the Lord permits. Look at verse 6. He said, whether we be afflicted, it is for your consolation and salvation, which is effectual in the enduring of the same sufferings which we also suffer, or whether we be comforted, it is for your consolation and salvation. And our hope of you is steadfast, knowing that as you are partakers of the sufferings, so shall ye be also of the consolation. See, if you're not willing to take the sufferings, you're not going to get the consoling or the comfort, which is eternal life. You got to sit back and ask yourself what you're willing to take on, what you're willing to get, what you want. What you doing to the baby? What you doing to the baby? Isaiah chapter 14 and 14. Because we know in 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 1. Peter told us to arm ourselves likewise with the same mind as the Messiah suffered for us. That we should arm ourselves with the same mind and suffer in the flesh, that he that suffered in the flesh ceases from sin. We know that there is no iniquity with Yah. Nor was there any iniquity with his son. Because he said, I came and did the works that no other man did. He said, if I wouldn't have came, they would have not had sin. He said, but now that I came, they have no cloak for their sin. So when we look at Isaiah 14 and 14, look what he said. I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. Now let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 32. Let's see what one thing the Most High is like. Because that goes into somebody calling me the other day, talking about, you said you can't stop sinning. I don't believe that. Man, I don't believe that. You believe what you want. Deuteronomy 32 and 39. We got to sit back and realize what the man came to make us like. He came to make us like God. He said, it's written in your law that ye are gods. He said, if he called them gods, then the scripture cannot be broken. So we got to sit back and see the attributes of God. What's with God? 32 and 39. Or 32 and 40. He said, for I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. Let's look at Job chapter 33. Let's see another thing that's not with y'all. Say we see y'all live forever. Let's see another thing. And make sure it's 33. Make sure it's 33. Where is 34? Where is that? Where I know what he said. Where the verse at? Where he said it. Look at Job 34. Man, that's my good foot. That's my good foot. Where's that at? Well, look at 2 Chronicles 19 and verse 9. I can't, it's not coming to my mind. What is that? What I want? Well, I can't even pronounce this young man's name. Well, Elihu said straight up and down, ain't no iniquity with y'all. Ain't no iniquity with y'all. We know ain't no sin with God, right? Huh? How many of y'all think it's sin with God? Who believe that? Because we see Yahshua said he'll be like the Most High. 2 Chronicles 19:9. We got to get on out here. We took up enough of your time. Verse 6 actually. And he said to the judges, take heed what you do, for you judge not for man, but for Yah who is with you in judgment. Wherefore now let the fear of Yah be upon you, take heed and do it, for there is no iniquity with Yah our God, no respect of persons, nor taking of gifts. So there's living forever and no sin with it. Now we just sat back and read in the regeneration, Yahshua said they're inheriting everlasting life just like he'll get. Just mentioned John chapter 15 where he said, I came and did the works that no other man did. We know Hebrew chapter 4 tells us the same thing. As long as 1 Peter chapter 2, this man did no sin. No sin. Philippians chapter 2 verse 15. After that, 1 John 5 and 18. And we'll go to Luke chapter 6 verse 40. Because he said it's written in your law, ye are gods now. So that means if you are God, if you are a son of God, that means you wouldn't die and you wouldn't commit sin. Because that's the same thing that happened to the king happened to you. Let me get there. That you may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, perverse nation, on whom you shine as lights of the world, holding forth the word of life, that I may rejoice in the day of the Messiah, that I have not run in vain, neither labored in vain. That's the whole purpose why we're here. That we might become harmless and blameless and be without rebuke, that we can become the sons of God. 1 John 5 and 18. After that, we'll look at Romans chapter 1, verse 4 one more time. We know that whosoever is born of God sin not. But he that is begotten of God keep himself, and that wicked one touch him not. I had to sit back and look at it. If you're going to be born of God, you're going to keep yourself. You're going to keep yourself by the obedience of the word. The word will keep you from sin. A lot of people love to say that, don't they? The Lord just been keeping me. But what he's supposed to have been keeping you from is keeping you from sin. The word is supposed to keep you from transgressing. It's supposed to restrict and hold back your behavior. So if you saying the Lord keeping you, but you still sinning, you just talking. Romans chapter 1, verse 4. After that, Luke chapter 6, verse 40. We'll call it a night. Right there, Luke chapter 6, verse 40. Well, verse 3. Concerning his son, Yahshua the Messiah our Lord, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh, and declared to be the Son of God with power, according to the spirit of Kodesh. Because the same thing that happened to the king gonna come to them after him. You want to be a son of God, it's gonna have to be by the spirit of separation and from the resurrection of the dead. As we dealt with last night, the Lord will, we're gonna deal in more deeply. You're gonna have to be buried in this man's sepulcher. You're going to have to do the same things he did. You're going to have to die and raise again and be made new. And you're going to have to become a son of God. You're going to have to live clean. You're going to have to be willing to take on sufferings, persecution, and all these things for the word, for your soul's sake, for salvation's sake, or you're not going to make it. Luke chapter 6, verse 40. Look what the Lord told you. Somebody sit back, come tell you. Now he said, I'll be like the Most High. Philippians 2 and 5 say, Paul say, let this mind be in you, the same mind that was in the Messiah Yahshua, who thought it not robbery to make himself equal with God. You have to sit back and let yourself know. You sit back and saying you can walk in your flesh and not commit sin, you ain't taking nothing from God. Because the book just said the Messiah had the same mind. You ain't taking nothing from God to say, y'all can sit back here and I can resist my flesh and I can not commit sin. You ain't took nothing from him. He said, don't let it be robbery now. He said, don't let you think that you're taking something from him. Luke chapter 6, verse 40. The disciple is not above his master, but everyone that is perfect shall be as his master. Praise y'all for Yahshua for the word. Y'all understood all these things this evening. Praise the Lord.